So I know I'm finishing up here. We've got CivFed waiting for us, but I do want to congratulate you and Ms. Crystal. And actually, I want to thank you, too, for becoming our chair and vice chair this year. 2021 should hopefully be better than and a little easier than 2020, but it's got to have a lot of challenges. And I know with you both at our helm, you're going to get us through as we work to stabilize and recover from this from the pandemic. And in 2021, I plan to continue to do whatever I can to support our efforts to end systemic racism and to continue to build a more resilient Arlington. Innovation is bumpy and never easy, but I think we've all been pleasantly surprised, actually, at how quickly and well we can innovate when we need to, and I will continue to support smart innovation efforts. I look forward to analyzing what we learned and actually what we find worked better this past pandemic year, and plan to do what I can to ensure that we keep what good changes we've made and progress we've made, really getting through a rather painful year, but we want to get some good things out of it. One of the lessons I've taken away already is how important is kindness. Where we were kind with each other this year and understanding of the stress everyone was under, I think things went better. When we got angry and accusatory towards each other, and I'm talking in a general, larger we, this board really was great the whole time, but things generally went worse. And that brings me to a bit of one of my perennial themes, and one I plan to continue this year, which is civility. I'll repeat myself a little because the basic points really don't change. Civility's got the same root word as civilization, because civilization depends on civility. And books on civility have been around for a long time. The one I mentioned sometimes from 1595 has as its first rule, be respectful. Not subservient or always agreeing, but respectful. And I think being respectful today means treating each other like we're all on the same team. We may disagree about something important, but we, and I'm talking again about the large general we here in Arlington, we should respect each other, even as we argue vigorously, because let's face it, resolving different points of view, even after vigorous argument, often leads to better outcomes for everybody. So this past year, I think we've all seen how incivility can take a toll on our democracy. It hurts those in public service, it fractures communities, and that's why I keep bringing it up. When I see incivility here in Arlington, it worries me, because we're going to be facing some major issues in the next year, including, of course, setting budget priorities at a time when our economy is just struggling to recover. And of course, putting an end to systemic racism. We really cannot afford to fight among ourselves if we're going to deal effectively with these big issues. And finally, the other issue that I've been talking about for years and plan to continue again is how we support local government, especially regarding pay for elected officials. When I began my elected service back in the 90s, it was somewhat reasonable to assume that these jobs were part-time work. But times have changed, and we need to change too. And I would like us all to reflect a moment on what local elected boards and city councils do. In today's electronic age, elected members are expected to be available pretty much 24/7 to their constituents to answer emails. And then we attend meetings and ceremonial events. We're supposed to analyze major land use and development issues. We coordinate with regional bodies, and ultimately we're responsible for large budgets in the range of hundreds of millions or billions of dollars. And people turn to the elected leaders for leadership in a crisis. And of course, right now, elected officials are expected to do all of this work part-time because they're assumed to have another job. And if you step back and look at it, at what I think our work entails today, it's really totally unreasonable to treat these positions as part-time. But just about every local government in Virginia runs this way. And it's not only Arlington, but that doesn't make it right. And my primary goal here is good government. A strong democracy and government requires a broad and representative pool of candidates to run for office, and it's getting harder and harder to get good people to run. When I encourage good people to run, some of them tell me they can't take the nastiness. There's that civility issue again. But more say they just simply can't afford it. And over time, that's not good. It's not good for democracy. It's not good for our government here. It's not good for government in general. And I think this year has made it really clear how important is good government at the local level. Indeed, I think it's local governments across the nation that have held this country together over the past 4 years. So in 2021, I do look forward to supporting our chair, Mr. DeFranti, and his work on equity, stabilization, and recovery as we build on some of the hard lessons from this year to make Arlington more equitable, more innovative, and more resilient. And I do plan to encourage civil discourse as much as I can and do what I can to help local elected officials get the support they need to do the work we all need them to do. And with that, I am finished with my remarks, and I turn it over to you, Mr. Chair, and we can get over to CivFed. Thank you.